What if prosperity is not something you chase? What if prosperity is something you learn to tune into? Most people have been taught to look outside themselves for abundance. They look at the economy, they look at the job market, they look at what other people are doing, they look at the numbers in the bank account, and then they decide what is possible for their life. But in the deeper work of consciousness, we begin with a different question. Not, what do I have right now? But what field of possibility am I participating in with my thoughts, my emotions, my words, and my actions? Because the moment you place your attention on a new possibility, something begins to shift. Your brain begins to search differently. Your nervous system begins to respond differently. Your language begins to change. Your decisions begin to organize around a new future. This is the true essence of quantum manifestation. It is not pretending that money will magically fall from the sky. It is not ignoring reality. It is learning how to become internally coherent with the prosperity you are ready to create. In today's video, I want to show you how to attract prosperity into your life by tuning into the energy field, not as fantasy, but as a disciplined practice of consciousness, emotion, identity, and action. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you a simple 3-step prosperity activation you can begin using today. Now, before we go any deeper, I want you to understand something important. If you have struggled with prosperity, it does not mean something is wrong with you. Many people are trying to manifest abundance while carrying the emotional imprint of scarcity. They may say, I am abundant, but underneath the words, their body is saying, I am afraid. They may visualize success, but their nervous system is still expecting disappointment. They may want more, but their identity has been trained to survive with less. This is why manifestation must be more than positive thinking. Your life is not shaped by an isolated thought floating through your mind. Your life is shaped by the field you repeatedly generate through your attention, your emotional state, your beliefs, your language, and the actions you take every day. Think about this for a moment. If you grew up hearing that money is hard, money is evil, money never lasts, or people like us do not become wealthy, those ideas can become part of your internal operating system. They become the background frequency you keep broadcasting even when you are trying to create something new. So the first step in quantum manifestation is not asking the universe to give you more. The first step is becoming aware of the field you are already living from, because you cannot create a prosperous future while unconsciously rehearsing a scarcity identity. Modern physics tells us that reality at its deepest level is not as solid as it appears. Quantum field theory describes physical reality in terms of fields and excitations of fields. Now, we must be careful here. I am not saying your thought directly moves particles around and produces money in your bank account. What I am saying is that the field is a powerful metaphor for understanding how your inner state organizes your experience of life. Your attention is selective. Your brain is constantly filtering reality. Out of the millions of signals around you, your mind notices what matches your expectations, your emotional state, and your identity. If you are tuned to fear, you will keep finding evidence for fear. If you are tuned to possibility, you begin noticing doors, relationships, ideas, and decisions that were always there but invisible to the old version of you. This is where visualization becomes powerful. Mental imagery is not just daydreaming. Research in neuroscience and psychotherapy shows that imagery can influence emotional states interpretation, and cognitive context. When you repeatedly imagine a future with emotional vividness, you are training the brain to become familiar with that future. But here is the key. Visualization without regulation can become fantasy. Visualization with emotional coherence becomes rehearsal. This is why the heart matters. The heart and brain are in constant communication. Heart rate variability research connects physiological rhythm with emotional regulation and self-regulation. Slow breathing and elevated emotions such as gratitude, appreciation, and compassion can help the body move from survival chemistry into a more coherent state. When your body is in survival, prosperity feels threatening. A new opportunity can feel unsafe. A larger vision can feel impossible. But when your heart, breath, and attention become coherent, the body begins to receive the future instead of resist it. This is where ancient wisdom and modern science meet. Ancient traditions have always taught that the inner world shapes the outer path, not because thought alone replaces effort, but because your state of being determines what you perceive, what you choose, what you tolerate, and what you become. So prosperity manifestation is not about forcing the universe to obey your ego. It is about entering a state of alignment where your mind, heart, and behavior begin moving as one creative system. Let's collapse this into one clear principle. Prosperity is attracted through coherence. Coherence means your thought says, I am open to prosperity. Your feeling says, I am safe to receive. Your language says, I am becoming the person who creates and circulates value. Your identity says, this is who I am now. And your actions say, I am willing to participate. This is why I often say, we speak our lives into existence by the power of our words, thoughts, feelings, and actions. Not words alone, not thoughts alone, not feelings alone, and not action alone. Coherence is when all four begin moving in the same direction. This is where many people misunderstand manifestation. They think the goal is to want harder, but wanting often comes from lack. Wanting says, I do not have it. Coherence says, I am becoming the version of myself through whom this can naturally flow. That is a completely different frequency. A person in scarcity asks, how can I get something from life? A person in prosperity asks, how can I become a greater channel of value, service, creativity, and wisdom? That one question changes the field, because money follows value, prosperity follows contribution, opportunity follows clarity, and clarity follows coherence. When you begin speaking differently, feeling differently, choosing differently, and acting differently, you are no longer waiting for prosperity. You are participating in it. And this is where the quantum metaphor becomes practical. In a field of many possible futures, your repeated state of being is what makes one future more probable than another. Not because the universe is rewarding or punishing you, but because your inner state changes your perception, your behavior, your relationships, and your persistence. You begin seeing the opportunity. You begin making the call. You begin writing the proposal. You begin creating the product. You begin investing in your skill. You begin walking through the door that fear used to keep closed. That is manifestation becoming embodied. So let me give you a simple prosperity field activation you can practice every morning. Step 1. Observe the field you are in. Place one hand on your heart. Take a slow breath. Ask yourself, am I creating from fear, lack, pressure, and comparison? Or am I creating from trust, value, clarity, and service? Do not judge the answer. Just observe it. Observation begins transformation. Step 2, tune your field, breathe slowly. Imagine your heart opening like a field of light. Bring to mind one thing you are genuinely grateful for. Then bring to mind the prosperity you are ready to create, not as a fantasy, but as a lived identity. Feel what it would feel like to be calm, clear, generous, disciplined, and ready to receive. Say quietly, I am safe to prosper. I am ready to create value. I align my words, thoughts, feelings, and actions with the prosperity I am here to express. Step 3, take one aligned action. This is the step that turns energy into embodiment. Send the message, make the plan, study the skill, create the offer, clean the workspace, make the investment in your own growth. Take one action that proves to your nervous system, this future is real enough for me to participate in today. Prosperity is not something outside you that you beg life to deliver. Prosperity is a field you learn to enter, embody, and express. So today, do not just ask for abundance. Become coherent with it. Speak it, think it, feel it, act from it. Because you are not here merely to survive the conditions of the past. You are here to become the creative factor of your future. If this message spoke to you, I want you to write one sentence in the comments. I am tuning into prosperity. And if you are ready to continue this journey into consciousness, healing, and prosperity, subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who is ready to stop chasing abundance and start aligning with it. This is Dr. Harold Davis. Remember, you are always more powerful than the old story you have been living from.